Okay.
All right, so we're all set for our zoning board of appeals meeting for February. And we have a very limited agenda for tonight. Our first order of business, of course, is going to be to approve the minutes from our January meeting. So I'd like to make a motion to approve our minutes. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Second by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Here, we're all good. All right, so we have two decisions tonight. The first one is WHBH Real Estate on 7 Beach Lane. A lot of modifications have happened with the hearing over the months with that, but we have right now, we have a decision written to approve that variance. So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the variance decision as written. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Ellen. We all in favor of that one?
Aye.
Okay, good. And our second one is Terrence and Jean Rafferty on 256 Mill Road. That was for the garage in the front yard. They needed a variance, front yard variance. So we have a decision written on that one to approve that variance. So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt that decision as written. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Joe, and we're all in favor.
Aye.
Okay, good. So that was easy. All right, so into our holdovers. And number 3 is West Hampton Beach Development Properties LLC at 107 Old Riverhead Road. The applicant requests variances from 197-1 to construct a proposed automotive service station, accessory convenience store building of 4872 square feet in gross floor area, where the maximum permitted is 3,000 square feet. And from 197-17-1 for proposed rear yard setback of 30 feet, where the minimum required is 50 feet. So, let's see. Mr. Hume, I see your name.
And there is my face.
All right, Jim. Hello.
And Erwin Krasnow is with me this evening as well.
Mhm.
Good evening. What was just read is the relief that we were looking for has, I think, changed a little bit since we first filed this application. And a week or so ago, we filed an updated site plan, which resulted from many meetings with the planning board and some discussions back and forth, how to lay out the property, how to what size the building should be, and et cetera, et cetera. And this,
Jim, excuse me, if I may.
Yep.
I was looking at the land use and zoning chart that you gave us. And on the proposed use, on the maximum accessory convenience store GFA, what's required is 3,000 square feet, and your
Right.
proposed, it says 2,998.
It's 3,998.
Should be, that's just a
The site plan itself, yeah, is 3,998. So we still need a
I
variance. for
saw that on the site plan. I just wanted to clarify that was just a
Yes.
misprint on that.
Thank you. Thank you. And as I said, this form of the site plan, it came from many hours with the planning board. And this is where we arrived at, I think, a plan, at least its layout. We're still talking a little bit about the architecture with the planning board and ultimately the ARB. But this is the layout that I think we'll be ultimately seeking approval from the planning board for. And it requires the 2 variances that were talked about, but not to the scale that we originally thought, as the store size has reduced somewhat as a result of those conversations. So as indicated, we have a 3,999 square foot building. One of the reasons it's 3,999 and not 4,000 is so that we escape from the more difficult SEQA requirements and at the 4,000 square foot level. And the building is 41.9 feet away from the rear lot line when the code requires 50 feet. I just wanted to comment for a few minutes about the surrounding area that this building sits in and whether or not the granting of these variances would have any significant impact on that area. And as you know, I'm sure you're all familiar with where this property is. To the north is the railroad tracks. To the west is the new storage facility, and a tennis club. And to the south is the VFW, and then across the street is the street is Riverhead Road, and then across the street is, I believe, the Town Highway Department barn. Except for the variances that we are looking for here, in all other zoning respects, we haven't come close to even maxing out what is permitted here. The lot coverage for the store itself is only 5.7%. The canopy over the the gas pumps is 6.1% for a total of 11%. And I believe in the B3, we're allowed 20% coverage. The reason for the variance for the size has to do with the definition of a service station that's contained in the code. And it allows a convenience store, which is undefined in the code, but whatever that is, it allows for that at a rate of 350 square feet per fueling station. There are 16 separate fueling stations here. So if you do the math, that's actually 5,600 square feet. But there is a cap in that definition of 3,000 square feet. And we are exceeding it by 998 square feet. And so that's the source of that variance. But in the first instance, it's kind of a 2-element test, and we're well under the first element of those 2 parts. We have an oversized lot in the B3 here. We have almost 70,000 square feet. We have almost 70,000 square feet. The minimum lot size here is 40,000 square feet. But in addition, the code allows one use for every 10,000 square feet. So theoretically, we have, assuming we could engineer it, we could have all of this, plus we could have another use with another building or store on it as well. We have the coverage for it, we have the lot size for it, et cetera, et cetera. But we're choosing not to do that. We're focusing on this use and this particular layout. I don't believe that either variance will have a significant impact on the neighborhood in question. In fact, I think in some ways it will improve the neighborhood. I think that the storage building is rather tall. I called it something else before, but that was a mistake. And I think this project here will nicely break up the much larger building behind us. And so you won't even notice that this building is a little bit oversized. The other thing I wanted to bring to your attention, one of the recent changes to the code in the last year or so was the inclusion of a grocery store as a permitted use in the B3, a special exception use in the B3. And the code allows a grocery store to be 5,000 square feet. It's not limited to the 3,000 square feet of that the convenience store is. Now, again, neither a convenience store or a grocery store is defined in the code, I don't believe. But I guess it's, to a certain extent, it's one of those things that you know it when you see it. And certainly what is sold in this convenience store, and we can provide a list if you'd like, there's a lot of products that you would find in a grocery store. So there is very much of a grocery store element to this function, and that use is limited to 5,000 instead of 3,000 square feet. So at the end of the day, based on current regulations and the neighborhood that this sits in, I don't think any of these variances would be very impactful on the neighborhood. The building is where it is in part because we need to provide appropriate buffering and appropriate landscaping. And we also need to provide appropriately wide aisles so that the gasoline truck and other delivery trucks can get in and get around the site. And if I can share my screen, I will give you just kind of an overview of what it looks like with the landscaping in place. Here's the entrance off of Riverhead Road, the entrance and exit onto the little side flagpole that serves the storage facility in the back. Here sits the store, the necessary aisles, parking, which meets code, and then some very nice landscaping buffered here, buffered to the south, with a little extra buffering because that's where we would like to put the dumpster. And then the planning board had asked us to do some significant landscaping along the road, just to break up the facade of the building and the canopy over the gas pumps. So that, in a nutshell, is our application.
Could I ask you a question? Is that the vegetation along Old Riverhead Road, is that on a berm or is that just at?
I think it's at grade. I think it's not on a berm, no. We, to a certain extent, we want people to be able to see that we're here. We don't want to hide it completely, but the idea was more to break up the facade. To add a little interest to the site.
How high is the canopy? How tall is the canopy?
That's a good question. Let me just, Erwin, do you know that off the top of your head? I know we just got some information about that. But.
I sent it to you earlier today.
Yeah,
I sent you, if you can pull it up. I don't have a.
Yep, hold on. We can answer that very question.
Yeah, that's good. I couldn't find the height either.
It's meets code, but let me pull it up for you.
I see it as 21 feet, Jim, from what he sent earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
So I see the elevation is 21 feet for the canopy.
It's 21 feet from elevation?
From the, Jim, we have an updated picture he sent today.
Yeah,
That's the old
that's the wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah, it's in today's
By now
email.
I'd be used to doing this, but. Sorry. I thought this was it.
Should be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that should be it.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. If you blow it up, they can see
The canopy is
All
21
right,
feet.
21 feet.
And the building height is, what is the building height? The building height is 30.
Let me get that up for you also. East, south. Okay, there's the front of the building.
I have like about 25.8, I think it says. If I blow it up.
25 feet, 8 inches. Yeah,
Okay.
right there.
25.8.
Yep.
Okay. So Jim, why do you need such a big building?
Well, actually, we think this is a pretty small building. to 7-Eleven standards. The building that we wanted to put here was the building that, was the original square footage that we were looking for. But this is the kind of one of the lesser standard sizes for a 7-Eleven, that everything that they do fits inside this building. And this is where we arrived at after months of conversation with the planning board.
We see like the numbers I have here with the Speedway and Quag is 3,200 feet. The 7-Eleven here in town in the village is 3,100 square feet.
Right, and we're trying to add a feature to the village that provides a few more services than the 7-Eleven on down on Sunset or Mill Road.
And what would that be?
Erwin, you want to talk about that for a minute? What comes with this package?
Yeah, there's more product offerings. There's more coffee services. I think they have what's called a beer cage. Right now, I mean, if you look at Quick Check, they're at about 6,400 square feet. And, most of them are coming in larger, and the village did, work with us and change the code to allow us to do this, because I think they've been in favor of the project. Again, like Jim said, we had a very contemporary concept, and it was about 5,000 square feet. And the planning board loved all the amenities we had. Unfortunately, they didn't like the style of the building. So we basically took another concept that we've done elsewhere that doesn't have some of the newer things that we were proposing, and that kind of fit into this new 4,000 foot footprint, which is smaller, but trying to have more amenities than, like you said, the stores that were maybe built 10, 20 years ago, like the Speedway or the 7-Eleven downtown. So they're providing more fresh foods, more prepared foods, more choices of different types of cold brew coffee and stuff like that. And in order to do that and provide maybe some craft beers and stuff, they need more space. And I think it'll, since we have the new Amazon facility and the park there in the base, it'll take some pressure off of downtown and allow people to get lunch and whatever they need. And again, having access to the train station will make it easy for people when they're leaving West Hampton or they're coming to West Hampton to grab stuff.
Now, they're going to have any kind of sit-down dining in this convenience store?
I don't think there's anything planned. In the other concept, we had 7 seats. In this store, I don't think we have any seats. Whether or not the village decides to allow something outdoors in the future, since we have plenty of room, that could be brought up at another time. We're trying to get, everything, make the boards and the trustees and everybody happy so we can, break ground as soon as possible.
Okay.
And this is kind of a interesting, odd location in the village. I mean, this is kind of an island all by itself, surrounded by the uses of the storage building behind us overwhelms everything around it, I think.
Right.
The railroad tracks never going anywhere else. The highway department is going to stay whatever it is. So, I don't think that this creates this kind of a very unique set of circumstances that doesn't create a precedent for somebody else down in the main part of the village to do something larger than may be intended. And the economics of it work from the perspective of the operator at this size.
Well, our concern, of course, with the B1, we don't want to be doing anything that's going to detract from our B1.
This is B3.
I understand. I'm talking about the B1 district, because the B3 district, to read something right here from the B3 district goal and intent, it says the B3 district, like the B2 district, should complement, not compete with or weaken the downtown central business district.
Right.
So,
well, I don't think the 900 plus square feet that is above what is absolutely permitted here is going to create that problem, especially since I know that the code talks in terms of gross floor area, but probably 800 or 900 square feet of this building is support space. It's not actually, it's bathrooms, it's storage space, office, things of that nature. So.
Right. I just want to be clear to my concern was originally you talked about having, I believe Mr. Kasnoff said 7 seats in there.
Right.
Create a little bit of a cafe type of thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's not something we
that's-
want to see in the B3 district.
That's not in this plan. That's
And that's
out of-
definitely not in this plan. Okay. I
It's-
need to
it's-
clarify that.
But
Thank
it
you.
wasn't allowable use in the B3 district when we proposed, it was a luncheonette, it wasn't allowable use, and we were just, again, trying to make it for convenience, but it is not in this current plan.
Okay.
Well, one of the, Jerry, maybe I could just point something out too, from a code standpoint, because I was part of the team that drafted the 3,000 square foot code limit. And I was also involved in the master plan update to some extent. And the 3,000 square foot code limit was put in first in order to give an option for gas stations to have a little bit more in terms of convenience stores. But the reason that the village trustees picked the 3,000 square foot limit was that the discussion was the larger you get, the more like a grocery store you get. And at the time, grocery stores were not permitted uses above, they were not permitted uses for this district. So now that the master plan update's been done, what Jim pointed out before was that you can actually have a grocery store up to 5,000 square feet in this district as of right. So if this was a little Cinderella or something else that was a little closer to a grocery store, they wouldn't need a variance for it at 4,000 square feet. And so I guess at least from a character of the community standpoint, the fact that the convenience store is at 4,000 square feet, actually closer to a grocery store, it at least is something that I think you could consider, because it's a little unique in the way that this code has changed over the last couple of years to develop this way, where you have the 3,000 square foot limit that applies to a convenience store, but not to a grocery store, which is not all that dissimilar from what we're talking about.
Okay, Tony, thank you.
Let me chime in here for a minute. Back in August, when this plan first came to us, I had mentioned that as part of the village vision and the comprehensive plan, that they would like to see the gas pumps on the side or on the rear of the property, and not have the site be identified by a gas station primarily, and then having a convenience store over the way, in the rear.
All right, well, we had that discussion at length with the planning board, and.
No, I
don't
understand.
wanna-
Well, let me just finish, because I'm kind
Okay.
of walking a line here between planning and zoning, unfortunately.
Right,
What you bring up, this evening about convenience stores and grocery stores, point well taken. You have, Jim, as you said, 11% lot coverage,
correct.
and I'm not a fan of the 16 gas pumps, facing Riverhead Road with a huge canopy. And I don't have that, on the zoning board, I don't have the, anything to really, move that one way or another.
Right.
However, if you were to take one of Kyle's plan, conceptual plan that he gave you back in September, and you were able to get more lot coverage and a larger convenience grocery store and put these pumps on the north side of the property, still visible, from Riverhead Road, coming down, either way. Would that be an option?
No. We've had lengthy discussions about those very issues with the planning board, and this is the plan that emerged from those discussions. Another salient point here is that the principal use on this property is the gas station. So to suggest that we need to hide the gas station behind something else is kind of counter to what is the actual permitted use here, and that's the gas station.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else right now, Jim.
Okay.
Any other board member have anything? No. Megan, do we have anybody watching this hearing that might have something to add?
Nope, there's nobody in attendance.
Nobody else, okay.
Mhm.
So as I look at the rear yard variance that you've also reduced your request for,
Right.
I guess the only other thing you would have to do is move it closer to Old Riverhead Road, which I don't think is a realistic option.
Right. Well, again, based on our discussions with the planning board, I hate to keep bringing that up, but but this is a good thing. They wanted to establish a significant buffer along Riverhead
Yeah.
Road just to break this site up.
Mhm.
We need the aisles for the traffic and trucks to get in and out safely.
Right,
And so that kind of pushes the building back to where it is.
yeah.
Um,
No, I'm looking at your plan. I definitely understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have you doing significant landscaping there too, I see, so.
Yes.
I don't have anything else. I think you've answered all my questions. Anybody else have any comments on this?
I'm sorry, was there only one, is there one entrance and exit on this property? Why do I only see
There's
one?
two.
We're entering where there's one entrance off of Riverhead Road, and then there's a second in and out that goes to the south, that goes onto the flagpole for the storage facility. Which I believe when the planning was done for the storage facility, this concept was provided for. Our ability to use that access is provided for, was provided for.
You see where Jim's talking about, Ellen?
I do. I'm just have a lot of, yeah, I see it.
Okay. All righty.
And I'm sorry, so the other plans that were discussed, that Kyle had presented, those were not options because they were secondary, so to speak, to the use, which is
Yeah.
what you want.
Mhm.
Yes, that was the gist of the conversation with the planning board. Yes,
Hmm.
that's how we arrived here.
Okay. Good. Anybody else have anything on this?
Nope.
I guess not. Jim, anything you want to add before we
Nope.
call it a
That's it.
day? Okay. So I'll make a motion. We go ahead and close the hearing for a decision. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. We all good with that?
Yes.
Okay. All righty.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night now.
All right. As much as we'd like to continue tonight's meeting, that's all we have on our agenda. So I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that
Oh, no,
we.
we have to, Jerry, we just have to hold over number 4.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, I've kind of bypassed that because I knew we were going to hold it over. Number 40, Egret Dune Corporation, 95 Dune Road. We did receive a request to hold that over till our March meeting. So I'll make a motion. We go ahead and hold that over.
Second.
Second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. All right, now I can make a motion that we close tonight's hearing.
Second.
Second by Jim. We're all good? And we're out.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
He's leaving.